culture is actually
The goddamn run the Calling both games.
This final week of Sportsball for the season is sponsored by Rocket Money. Formerly known as Truebill, Rocket Money is an all-in-one finance app that helps you manage your spending and savings. I've always had a keen interest in finance and business, and the art of understanding areas where you can improve in money management, reducing expenditures, and overseeing your bills is important to me. My personal favorite parts of the app are alerting me to recurring payments, alerting me to bill increases, and being able to cancel subscriptions from the app itself. I forgot I was subscribed to the New York Times for a few vids, but with a few clicks in Rocket Money, they can cancel my subscription for me. It's a very useful tool to have in the art of finance. 3.4 million people use Rocket Money, and you can see why for yourself. All you have to do is go to rocketmoney.com/tree to get started or unlock even more features with premium. With Rocket Money, you can get a hold of your finances with ease. Now, if only we could get a hold on Week 18. The thoughts of the NFL world are with Damar Hamlin. In what can be described as a miracle, Hamlin's neurological function seems to be intact. As a result of what happened on Monday, it's to the surprise of few that the NFL called off the Bills-Bengals game. I say the surprise of few because the Shield has been known to force games to be played under similar circumstances. Maybe it's since they knew the playoff situation would be messed up as a result. Thanks to the no contest ruling, there will be a few wrinkles. If the Bills and Chiefs make it to the AFC Championship game, it will be played on a neutral site. This will occur if both the Bills and Chiefs win or tie, or they both lose and the Ravens win or tie. If the Chiefs and Bengals reach the AFC Championship and the Bengals won in Week 18, it will be played on a neutral site. As for the AFC North title, if the Bengals lose to the Ravens, home field advantage will be decided by a coin toss. You may say to yourself that Cincinnati's getting screwed over like a piece of drywall. You would be correct. Under the NFL rulebook, the division winner should be based off win percentage. Thus, Cincinnati should get home field. However, the NFL's never been known for consistency, have they? Week 18 is upon us regardless. As always, we need to get the more unimportant games out of the way first. This is another game that just kinda happened. If they simply canceled this game, no one would have noticed. But it's only for draft position and jobs for next season, like all good meaningless games. Both teams are completely lost, adrift after losing their identity. Carolina was dead by week 5, for God's sake. With that alone, it's impressive that the Panthers have a winning record since they fired Matt Rule. More shocking because it's in spite of themselves. Sam Darnold saw ghosts all game long. 5 for 15, 43 yards passing, and a QB rating near 0, and they somehow won. Their only touchdown was on a fumble recovery. The Saints are so dead on offense that they just said fuck it and checked out. Will Lutz proceeded to miss a field goal late in the game, and that was that. A testament to terrible football. Yet Eddie Pinheiro finally makes a goddamn field goal in a dome to win it. Hilarious irony. Oh, what could have been if a few rolls of the dice went a different way. We were so close to hilarity and greatness with the Chaos Division. But what do we get in the end? Further proof that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should be planning their off-season vacations to Cabo. Also, if the Falcons had anything resembling good fortune, they'd be something like a 12-win team. I know I'm gonna hear that this game was meaningless for the Bucs, that they pulled their starters early, that Desmond Ridder was able to dissect their backup defenders all game long, but it just shows you how shitty Tampa Bay is. They have no business being in the playoffs, yet are conveniently in the worst division in football. They won it by default, and with a losing record of all things. Tom Brady is inevitable. He will sentence us to a horrible death by stretching and TB12 supplements. Yeah, I'm salty, but this team stumbled ass backwards into this spot. All you can do is prove me wrong. Cincinnati may be bitter as hell over potentially dealing with a coin toss for home field, but be comforted. The starting QB for their opponent is Anthony Brown. I have no idea how this guy's in the NFL, but I'll respect him for throwing the ball right to Bengals defenders. With how shit they've been on offense for the past 2 months, Baltimore needs Lamar back at peak form and quickly. The question is if he'll be able to do it. The Ravens defense made Joe Burrow's life a living hell, but this was merely the dress rehearsal for next week. The Bengals were rightfully pissed about a potential coin toss dictating the course of their season. But in the end, it was for nothing. Cincy took care of business. There will be no bullshit affecting them this time around. That is, unless Lamar is just taking one long shit and about to unleash hell. I don't get why the Chargers played their starters despite having the 5th seed locked up. The Baltimore game was over and they had lost. There was no reason to do this. Unless you were getting paid by Seattle to keep Denver's draft picks better. Why even risk it in such a meaningless affair? Only bad things can happen. And it did with Mike Williams and Joey Bosa being pulled from the game due to injury. A week before the playoffs. Completely inexcusable. All this reinforces is that Brandon Staley is a fucking moron. He's cheated death 6 different times because of Justin Herbert and the NFL being shit. It was only a matter of time before his idiocy cost him. And it may have here. What was it for? The Chargers lost to the Broncos anyway. Why not allow Chase Daniel to throw more than 10 passes in the game again? You would have failed just as badly with your backups. Are you allergic to them? Use your fucking head, man. Jesus. To think the careers of J.J. Watt and A.J. Green would end like this. Rotting away in a retirement home of chaos. That has been the Arizona Cardinals for most of their franchise's history. And it continued against the team that ended up becoming what they so desperately tried to be when they cloned Texas Tech. When you settle for David, I allow others to plow my wife, it's going to be a rough day. I don't care if rumors of Kingsbury and Kime being exposed for their grift spread like wildfire. Those two should have never been extended in the first place. When you see San Francisco, it's a tale of haves and have-nots. It's a team of stability and offensive weapons. A team boasting an elite defense. A team that can plug in a 7th-round rookie named Big Cock Brock and still run ramshot against anyone. It's why their moves have allowed them to win 10 straight, secure the 2nd seed in the NFC, and look to be heavy favorites to make it to the Super Bowl. What did the Cardinals get? Jack and shit. As it's always been and always will be. The greatest miracle. In this league's darkest hour, an angel rose from the ashes of tragedy. Nathan Peterman is starting a football game in 2023. The most glorious blessing that has been bestowed upon us in uncertain times. With Justin Fields nursing injuries, the goal for Chicago is to lose with incredible speed. There is an unsung tank to guide to greatness. Minnesota needs this game more than the Bears do. And the boys at Soldier Field will make sure of it. Mostly with throwing in Aaron Rodgers' clipboard holder Tim Boyle to throw tasty treats to the Vikings defense. Despite being 9 games over 500, Minnesota has a point differential of -5. That's all you need to know about them. It may be another ugly loss to lose 10 in a row, but there's no turning back now. They need to look to another matchup for glories unseen. The Super Tank Bowl! Now this is a matchup for the ages. A tank bowl that can alter the course of history. And both teams are eager to see their teams lose for selfish reasons. Why else would Indianapolis hire an ESPN analyst as coach and start Sam Ehlinger at QB? It certainly isn't to make themselves look good, I'll say that. Houston merely wants to tank for great justice. And are rumored to be firing everyone again because I really don't know. The Texans are just a clown car in disguise as a football team. Part of me feels like Lovie Smith is trying to stick it to the organization by trying to make him this year's David Culley. Oh, you're gonna fire me? Not until I take a pound of flesh in return. That retribution would be in pushing the Texans to an early lead by means of General Mills. And a Sam Ehlinger pick 6, but beggars can't be choosers. However, the tides of war would turn. Mainly with another pick 6. They remembered their tank was real. That failure would be swift and justifiable. For the glories of the #1 pick are in sight. Indianapolis will be gifted their 2nd win in the Saturday era. And the glories of the tank of tanks will be rewarded. Hey, Texans, the real war has been won. There's no need to push the ball down the field. Houston, no. The executives want you to tank. Texans, wait, don't! You're going the wrong way! You're gonna drive yourselves up the cliff! Stop! Stop!
Mills buying some time, fires towards the end zone, and it is caught!
Oh my word.
Improbable!
Oh my god. Lovie Smith is so pissed that he's giving the team the middle finger. He's going for 2. He wants to win!
Play
Watch
determines
Akins right there. Lines up outside, comes inside. Watch him over the middle.
who will pick first in the draft. Mills to the end zone. It's caught. Akins.
You fools! You had everything you could have wanted and then some! This reeks of sabotage. In no coach's right mind should he destroy a glorious tank unless he wants to burn every bridge possible. Worse, it was against Indianapolis, who needs a franchise QB and is able to move up to the 4th selection. It's a disaster for Houston. But then again, Lovey was the head coach of the Bears at one time. And with this Texans win and their horrible time, a new champion appears at the 11th hour. With pride, may I introduce to you the winners of the 2022 Tank Bowl, the Chicago Bears! May the haul of draft picks you receive from a QB-hungry team be plentiful and robust. Jeff Saturday said it best a few months ago. The Raiders look horrible. There would be no Jarrett Stidham magic. The only trickery will be the backdoor shenanigans Kansas City's known for. Think that disappearing penny trick repeated for 60 minutes. Literally 0 fucks or respect given to their opponent. With how badly the silver and black are playing, it's justified. A win as easy as a man whore. To no one's surprise, KC claims number 1 seed in the AFC, and await Buffalo's home game to see if they'll have permanent home field for the playoffs. As Chiefs fans dominate the black hole like they're the new Village people, Mark Davis sits steaming at how it keeps happening. You moved to Las Vegas, one of the biggest tourist destinations in America. What did you expect, a red carpet and a blowy in your owner's box? But skinning the Patriots alive is gonna fix everything. You deserve this bullshit. None of us knew how it happened, but Philly is in a must-win situation. Fortunately for them, 2 things. First, Jalen Hurts is back, merely to shake off the rust of being out for a couple of games. Secondly, the G-Men chose to not take revenge for 2020. They rested their starters, resulting in Davis Webb finally getting his first start in the NFL, in his second tour of duty with the team. Therefore, it's to little surprise that the Eagles were able to limp across the finish line just ahead of their opponents. The situation was far from pretty, but Philly got it done. They've won both the NFC East and the number 1 seed. There are concerns, but it was nothing but a tune-up for greater challenges that lie ahead. They now get the privilege to rest up and prepare for their next opponent. Whomever that may be. Could even be the Giants if they beat Minnesota. You know what shocks me the most? That Kenny Golladay managed to make his first touchdown catch as a Giant in the most ironic way possible, with an outstanding grab in garbage time. We can only hope this is the last game of Dan Snyder's reign of terror on the reskins. Everything that worthless rat has touched, he's completely fucked up. On-field meddling, to off-field headaches, to the damn good culture, to a fiasco with Frank Herzog not being invited to Sonny Jurgensen's jersey retirement. They were only partners in the broadcast booth for a long time, nothing crazy or anything. It's a goddamn miracle that the actual football team can do anything of note on the field of play. Or is that because the Cowboys are using this as a dress rehearsal for another hilarious postseason loss? Losing in embarrassing fashion to a team starting Sam Howell, a rookie in his first career start? How did he look infinitely better than Dak did? They can't even make the excuse that there was nothing to play for. The Cowboys looked as checked out as a team like Washington should have been. And the disturbing part is that Dallas played a team very similar to how Tampa Bay will look next week. And they have Tom Brady. If they fail, Mike McCarthy's gonna turn into next year's Thanksgiving turkey. The 7th seed is an abomination that should not exist. All of these teams will be cannon fodder for the Bills in the wild card. But the NFL likes money. So we get this scenario. The Patriots are winning dead. The Dolphins need a win and a Pats loss. The Steelers can bullshit to another playoff berth with a win and New England and Miami losses. On to Buffalo, where New England controls their own destiny.
I know this is your time. You'd like to keep us updated.
Yeah, we'll keep everybody posted on Pittsburgh and Cleveland, Miami, and the Jets. We're underway as New England decided to defer after winning the toss. And here's Hines on the run back, breaking a tackle and taking it past midfield. And down the sideline he goes. This is storybook.
Let this play be the rallying cry for Damar Hamlin. He may still be in critical condition in the hospital, but his spirit will charge the entirety of that stadium all game long. New England, it was nice knowing you, but there was no way the NFL was going to allow you to win this game in these circumstances. You've already had your glory. Much better to have a storybook situation play out in real time. Did you seriously expect Roger Goodell in person to watch to allow the Patriots to have anything good happen? Of course not. 2 touchdowns on kickoff returns by Nyheim Hines. That's all you need to know. This day was for the Bills, and it was one that was as predictable as 3 little pigs. 2 of those pigs happened to run the offense of the Patriots. They build their houses with ineptitude and twigs. Mac Jones is being held hostage as he throws pick after pick. New England must bow out. This is for DeMar. The rest of the NFL's been waiting to say this for a long time, Pats fans. Welcome to hell. The narrative of Mike Tomlin not having a losing season must remain intact. It doesn't matter that team coaching is a big reason as to why the Steelers are on the playoff bubble and pissed away about 6 games this year. There is no asterisk when you continually best Cleveland in every aspect. As always, tradition and narratives must be maintained. Any success the Browns have against the Steelers must be fleeting and brief. Deshaun Watson will learn a word he hasn't heard a lot of in his time. No. He will be victimized by the steel curtain at least 7 times as Kenny Pickett manages to outduel him. Somehow. It was probably the most convincing victory of the season, and guarantees no one in the national media will shut up about Mike Tomlin's winning seasons. But their goals are greater. They must look to Miami for any hope of a postseason.
I'm calling both games.
This is legitimately the worst football game I've seen in recent history. Out of a year full of terrible fucking football, this matchup may have taken the cake. Why do I know this? Skylar Thompson versus Joe Flacco, with serious playoff implications on the line. Miami is in must-win territory and they know it. The ping pong table has been removed from the locker room. I repeat, the ping pong table has been removed. That's when you know shit's getting serious. You need to dig a trench and burrow in for the long haul. Literally forever, as there will be no offense to speak of. It will be denied like me at prom. The end zone is a sacred land, and its virgin grass must remain as such. There will only be the kicking of field goals. And some of those are missed. The legs of Jason Sanders and Greg the wide left leg will be tested in this affair. Because nothing screams 2023 like everyone standing their ground and refusing to budge. That is until Miami's final drive. Like all things the Jets do, they must fail at it. A horse collar. That's what gets Miami into field goal range. Please, Jason Sanders, put us out of our misery.
On the way, down the middle, with distance.
The ping pong table should only be reserved for Jason Sanders. One of the ugliest wins I've seen in a long time. But it's enough to stave off humiliation for a week. Dolphins, here's your ticket to be destroyed by Buffalo. Now fuck off. Well, Steelers, this is what happens when you have to rely on the Jets to do anything good. They ironically treated it like you did with your early contests. Winnable games, you find ways to piss away. The AFC South is next on the docket. The rules are simple. Win and in. A division on the line. Let's move on to the action. Imagine thinking that the Jags of all teams would have a chance at the AFC South title at the beginning of the year. No, we say. Glorified wildcard exits and the Titans and Colts have the best shot at it. Not in this timeline. Tennessee's in complete freefall, and is so desperate to move the football that Josh Dobbs is their best option at doing so. We have ourselves a grind. A sloppily played grind. Duval did their best to fuck it away, fumbling every key opportunity like they were back in the post-Saxonville era. One that caused us all to writhe in pain. No one should be forced to watch the shitty, completely injured to hell Titans in the playoffs. That's a punishment worse than hell itself. Yet it seems to be reality. Jags can't overcome the might of the Tennessee defense. It's a hellacious landscape all its own. And Now I want a miracle so I don't have to watch any more of this garbage.
Dobbs is hit from behind. The ball's out. They're calling this a fumble at the moment. And the return by Allen for the touchdown.
Oh, thank God. This was the greatest victory America's seen since Bin Laden was killed. We have been shown mercy. The Titans have lost 7 straight to end the year. A total collapse. And it's not like it was unforeseen. They've been complete frauds all season. The football gods merely sped up the inevitable. Just like Todd Downing hopefully being sent to the guillotine. I think I know why the Jags made it here. No, it's not because the division was fucking terrible. It's because of Uche. They did this for you, man. I hope you're running the longest victory lap known to man up there. You've earned it. In the hellscape that is the NFC, the 7th seed is also primed to be cannon fodder. Green Bay can overcome their own self-destruction by simply winning. Seattle can make it by taking care of their own business and some help from Detroit. The Lions still have a chance but need a win, and Seattle lost. With that in mind, let's go to Seattle. 2 old foes limping to the finish line. Seattle has been flailing around on life support for weeks. And LA is so dead that Sean McVay's debating if he even wants to keep coaching. He could always go to the broadcast booth, make shitloads of money, and become the next John Madden. Would you rather have that or deal with a rebuild and watch Baker Mayfield burn everything in sight? Or is that the Seahawks? I can't tell since both teams are trying to hand the other the win by any means necessary. At least with the Rams, they're about to fuck off for another offseason of Super Bowl celebrations. Seattle, on the other hand, is struggling just as badly as they have for the past 2 months. Come on, boys. The refs are doing everything in their power to hand you this game on a silver platter. You have a chance to sneak in as the pity seed in the playoffs, and you're doing this? Tied with the Rams? This isn't a good audition to earn a trip to Santa Clara. With their final drive, they still keep getting chance after chance by a combination of defensive indifference and ref ball. Time's winding down, and Jason Myers can end it. Please do. I'm tired.
The snap is down. The kick is on the way, and it is off the upright.
I see Seattle hasn't stopped trying to give their fans heart attacks, have they? Fair enough. You can add more gasoline to the blaze.
Mayfield. Oh, he's got Van Jefferson open, and it's intercepted. Quandre Diggs.
Oh, Baker, I thought you were done with that kind of haphazard throwing. Despite setting themselves on fire repeatedly, Seattle manages to somehow move the ball without coughing it up. Good for you, you can hopefully not doink the game winner.
And hope springs eternal in Seattle.
Took you long enough. With this kick, we now know one thing is official. The Motor City Kitty no longer meows. This win felt so undeserved. Allegations of ref ball and rigging ring throughout the night, but their fate is no longer in their hands. The teams at Lambeau now control their destiny.
I'm calling both games.
Detroit no longer has anything to play for, but have you seen this team under Dan Campbell? They'll fight to the last man at bingo night. If you can take down a hated rival, why wouldn't you take the chance to? It's also the perfect end cap to a season where you rose from the doldrums of 1-6. A winning record is tantalizing, and so is forcing your opponent to trip on their own landmines. The refs tried to do everything in their power to hand Green Bay a win in the beginning. The calls of rigging cried throughout the night, but this is a different Packers team. No longer one eager to let the offense do the talking. They wish to sing a song of self-destruction. Green Bay cut off its own legs to spite itself. It would explain the Aaron Jones fumble. It would also explain why Rasul Douglas disconnected his controller and interrupted the snap before halftime. But it doesn't explain what Quay Walker did. Pushing a fucking trainer? Dude, that was the literal worst time you could have done anything. And it got him ejected. For the second time this year. Even Matt LaFleur was losing his shit over such stupidity. Regardless of result, that's the easiest locale of the week decree I've given in about a week. But now we know. It was Green Bay's death knell. Dan Campbell doesn't care for sentimentality. He wants blood. That's why he's going to make the ballsiest damn calls known to man. and it was rewarded with a touchdown to take the lead. Aaron Rodgers, here is your chance to overcome your choking reputation in key moments.
Here's a blitz. Can Rodgers beat it? Big ball downfield, and it is intercepted by Kirby Joseph.
You've held the team hostage for 2 years to do that. Packers ran themselves into a pit of spikes. An opportunity for a bullshit 7 seed after the terrible start you had was being handed to you by the rest of the NFC. But you felt that losing another home game in January was more desirable. Dan Campbell knows he needs to twist the knife. And he does. He's learned what all of Detroit says. Fuck the Packers. A dagger to potentially end an era. If it is, Aaron Rodgers bows out like Brett Favre did here. With an interception. That being said, Seattle, congratulations! You get to be fucking destroyed by San Francisco next week. Considering that everyone expected them to be tank bowl contenders this season, they'll embrace that outcome and then some. They did the impossible and made it to the dance. House money, baby. It's a hell of a drug. And there you have one of the sloppiest NFL seasons we've seen in a long time. Depending on how you view things, it's either thanks to a revival of defense or incredibly terrible offense. I'm on the side of the latter. But when you see a collapse of anything resembling discipline and technique, it tends to be like that. But as the playoffs await, it's time to get sappy and sentimental. I consider Sportsball as a project of sorts, and it feels weird when it's over. I want to thank you for joining me for another year of this madness, and I wish you all nothing but the best. It's been 6 seasons since I started this series, and I somehow haven't lost my damn mind yet. Perhaps these playoffs will do the trick. I'll see you all for the Haters Guide. There is always one final sacrifice that must be made for the gods. A day we call Black Monday. Obvious placeholder was so obvious you could have called him a pylon. Yes, Lovey was well past his expiration date in the NFL, but this says less about him than it does about the Texans. What the fuck are they doing? Do they seriously believe firing 2 head coaches in 2 years is a good move? What coach in their right mind is going to want to come to the Houston Clown Show? Who's going to want to be so pissed off at how inept Cal McNair is that he wants to sabotage a tank? Lovey just reeks of the Texans settling when the first 10 options rejected them. If you were going to go this route, why not just keep David Culley? It would have saved them millions of dollars in the process. That beard is still magnificent, though. And the winner of I told you this guy was going to be fucking terrible the moment he was hired is, you already know. Who knew that the coach who was a failure in college and got fired for it would be a failure in the pros and get fired for it? Everyone knew this guy was a hack except for Arizona. And a testament to not be fooled by cronyism and false equivalences.
Oh, but Tree, he coached Patrick Mahomes in college.
Yeah, and he didn't win with him. He got everything he wanted, handpicked and cultivated, complete control of the offense, and he still predictably failed. No control over his players, no consistency in play, consistently falling apart in the second half of seasons. The same damn script as it was at Texas Tech. Yet he still got extended. Nice grift if you can get it. Kingsbury turned a 2-7 hand into more money than any of us will make in our lives. Yes, I am jealous. You should be too. I refuse to show mercy to Cardinals Thanos. He's merely being Gettleman because Michael Bidwell is as much of a failure as his father was. This guy should have been shown the door the moment Steve Wilkes got booted. Yet Keim is probably a good drinking buddy, so he stayed to ruin the team further. This guy butchered draft capital like it was a Hereford cow. The Josh Rosen trades, that hilariously bad drafting record, trading a first for Hollywood Brown. The only reason why this guy isn't being talked about as one of the worst GMs of this era is because of Bruce Arians and Bill O'Brien being a fucking moron. Like his doppelganger, he found a talisman, snapped his fingers, and half the talent in Arizona vanished in the blink of an eye. Now, thanks to being weakened by that snap, he is stepping down to live a quiet life on a different planet cooking stew in a hut. Or be alleged in framing different coaches for sexual assaults in Mexican bars. Whatever you wish to believe. This was a very weak offering. Hopefully the playoffs will give the gods more pleasure in the blood pits. Amen.
Cooper back to Blau.
Deep downfield for Green, and he catches it. A.J. Green will take it all the way into the end zone, and that is a Cardinals touchdown.